Hello, and welcome to Sage Thyme. Lillian here with you today as I touch upon the pulse of the collective and offer a narrative for you to personally translate and assimilate in accordance with your own highest design. So today we're doing a tarot reading, oracle reading. I have been trying to complete an edit and of a really beautiful writing piece that wanted to come out, and I keep getting blocked, which is quite befitting given the fact that astrologically we're in a perfect square. Here comes the first card from between the Sun in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus, right at the exact time of the cross point that is indicative in the stars of Imbolc, even though today is February 3rd and Imbolc is traditionally shared or celebrated on the 2nd. Astrologically, it happens this evening. So your first card that came out today, we're gonna also do it a little different. Usually I like to draw ahead of time, but we're gonna see how it goes on the fly. I'm practicing, I'm learning, you're learning with me and developing your incredible loving kindness and patience as I get my sea legs on this YouTube adventure. Okay, first card, Flower Power. I'm using the Magical Messages for the Fairies deck as well as the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Now, Flower Power says, spend time with flowers and flower essences to increase your personal healing power. Wow, fantastic. Okay, so many of you may have heard of flower essences called Bach remedies. An incredible way of using and what's coming to mind is how Bach remedies, flower essences are actually created. And that is by using a dilute many times over. I don't know if it's the same as homeopathic, which is like 1,000 times titrated dilution, and then again another 1,000 times. But it's along the same lines when it comes to flower essences. It's a very minute amount of the energetic constituents in a flower that offer a deep medicine. And one of the most beautiful things that occurs with plants and their lifeblood, which is their oils, and the constituents they're in, is that the less you have, the more potent it is. That goes with both homeopathy and with flower medicine. And so here you see this little fairy spending time with it looks like little apple blossoms, and she's placing systematically little droplets of water, just like we would see in the early spring. Well, we're not there yet right now. I've got a nice blazing wind and rain event going on outside my window. However, the medicine of the plants and the flowers are still very potent, even when they're dormant. And since we're in a time with Imbolc, where it's about seed activation, bulb activation in the natural world and within ourselves, our own potential, our own ideas, what we're cultivating within ourselves, either creatively and or healing within ourselves, our bodies, our hearts, our minds, connecting with the most simple of plant medicine has the most potent effect. And that's what I'm hearing is the message for you today. An incredibly beautiful surprise message. Not at all what I expected. I'm seeing the pollen as well as she's placing the little raindrops, mist drops on the flowers. I'm noticing the pollen and how, just like a bee, when it moves from flower tip to flower tip, it gets what it needs, the nectar, but it also takes a little bit of pollen and moves that about from flower to flower, helping propagate future fruits and next seasonal flowers for the different plants. And so the message here today is remember to give back what you get, and not always in the sense of what you feel that you have received from another, from a plant, from a person, a job, a situation, a relationship even. Not what you feel or perceive that you've received, more what you trust you will receive in giving back. So when you speak with a friend, when you learn from an educator or somebody serves as a coach or a guide to you, the obvious recognition of, wow, that really made a difference for me. You'll always want to give back, because that not only creates the circuitry of abundance, the law of cause and effect and circulation are always in play. So yes, most definitely giving back in that basic sense keeps abundance flowing to you, through you, from you, for you, by redistributing it and not hoarding onto it. And also giving from a place of the heart and a space of self-cultivated overflow allows you to give a little bit more than maybe what you feel you have received. And in doing so, there is again that essence of higher trust, that capital T trust, in knowing that giving a little bit more sets a place at the table for an unexpected visitor, so to speak, sets the energetic inertia forward into the world that will come back to you. And it's a dynamic of trust, knowing that both you're giving a little bit more because you trust that you are receiving even a little bit more from that person, circumstance, the plant that you've connected with. You know, right now rose hips are fully available and in season here in the Northwest and across the world in the Northern Hemisphere. And rose hips have another perfect symbolic demonstration of how the winter, while it requires us to kind of hunker down, our immune system sometimes can get a little compromised. The rose hip is so concentrated. It's, I believe, one of the most concentrated forms of natural vitamin C. And so taking properly harvested rose hips and making a decoction with it in water and then tea, or even I don't know that I've done that. Yes, I did in the past. I made a decoction with honey, with local honey, and it makes an incredible medicine. You can do tinctures, or you can simply use the flower power of the subtle. Speak to the plant, the rose plant, before you clip it. Connect with it from a heart space rather than a mind space, and allow the message from that plant to speak to you through the heart. Simply wait. It'll sound like a lot of nothing for a while. And then you wait and you keep holding presence, awareness in that heart space. And you'll start to hear the rose hip speak to you and the rose plant. And maybe the wisdom that it shares is all that you need. And in essence, that subtle energetic exchange is really the vitamin C, the activator of your immune system that you needed. Again, more deeply powerful. And if it does call to you to clip some, say thank you, ask how much and what is needed, and clip, and then harvest appropriately and turn into your medicine, whether you hold it in your hands and connect it from the palm to your heart. In acupuncture, the heart channel, well, it moves from the heart area to the armpit and through the arm and ends essentially right here. That is a wonderful way to connect with the palm of your hands through holding something or someone and letting that flow move through your arm and through the armpit and into the chest on either side. It's a wonderful way to connect again and communicate, absent of the thinking mind, with present hold in the heart space, allowing that silence to open and unfold. And even the simple act of connecting in that way creates a powerful healing dynamic within your energy fields and your cells, ultimately your whole body, as well as giving the mind, the thinking brain, a break, because it gets tired. And when it gets tired, it starts pulling on energetics from our physiology, our neurology, and then our physiology, and then our cellular biology. And that's where we come up with things like these multi-syndrome illnesses, where there's just convoluted, autoimmune, often different things that come into play, and we don't know what's what, but we do know we don't feel well. And that's often the mind's last resort of, I've been trying to talk to you. I've been trying to tell you that what's been going on and the way you, aka me or you, have been running your world and your life is not working. And I, the mind, need a break. Okay, so the 3 cards that came out, let's take a quick look at this. And I'm going to try to keep this reading a little bit shorter. See if that makes it more easy to enjoy and more palatable. Okay, so the first card that came out is First Breath, Beginner's Mind. And really that fits perfectly with the Flower Power card. This fairy that is a child, we often associate Beginner's Mind with the Fool in the Tarot, which at a more divine level or a more intuitive level is the child's mind. So first breath, beginner's mind, child's mind is the no mind. Again, it brings us right back to the heart. And that is the essence of what beginner's mind is. When we're young and we don't need to think about everything and label anything and everything. We simply can observe. We're told to label things, and we're told what labels mean, and we're told how to think and feel about these different labels of others, of the world, the natural world around us, how we interact with it, and of ourselves. But when we drop that thinking mind and we let it rest, then we can sync our energetic attention and our presence of awareness into the heart space. That's when the perceptivity of the world around us and our inner world really start to highlight not only what's needed most to be paying attention, but how to interpret and interact with our inner world and universe and the world around us. And the next card that comes out perfectly after that is the overflow, overwhelm and plenty. And I'm thinking that the word overwhelm is a description of the sense of what happens when you start more and more throughout your day, as much as possible, to the point where it's every moment of your day, bringing that present awareness into the heart space and through the heart space as your navigational tool. And when doing that, it creates this blooming and blossoming effect, creating a flower power of the heart, shall we say. And that requires surrender. Because what does the thinking mind do? It controls And it does a good job when needed, but we rely as a culture on the thinking mind far more than what is necessary and what is appropriate for our best lives and for our body, our neural system, and our energetic systems. And when we surrender, that need to control, to determine, to create an outcome with our own imaginations, with our own fears, and with our own lack of trust in ourselves and our heart connection and what comes through that heart connection. Because the most important part of that heart connection is its connection to the higher self, the God self, and then ultimately the source of all. That incredible, all-knowing, all-present part of our human incarnation that knows the design of us. It has that awareness and it has the cognitive capacity, because it is the all, to keep that in mind and see that what maybe is in front of us that doesn't feel so good or is invoking a sense of fear within us is perfectly and wonderfully and accurately in divine design of the incarnation that we as an individual soul have chosen to move into, to learn and grow. All part of a plan that we ultimately agreed to. But on the human level, we don't remember that and we don't know that. And of course, we don't have the cognitive, the mental capacity to hold that vast and intricate knowledge. And so here, when we surrender and we lean back and we open our heart space and we start developing again that relationship with beginner's mind, with the inner child, with the whole self of us, then we find surprising and wondrous direction and interplay of communication in ways and with things like plants and animals and simply the ether around us that we never knew were possible. And the world becomes all that more delightful, all that more wondrous like a child. And so here today, your message is flower power, the flower power of your heart, how it blooms, how it opens and surrenders and connects and lets go of the mind and lets the eyes soften into the child's wonder and delight of the world around him or her. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here with me today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and I would love your comments, even if it's just a smile or a heart. Every little bit encourages me, and then I can even further encourage you on your journey. May we all be blessed on this beautiful day of February 3rd. Much love.